by ending a drug war, the homicide rate would decrease in Mexico, in the US, and so many migrants wouldn't need to flee to the US.
Keep it 100, I be feeling like Campbell soup over white rice, baked chicken with the skin on, yeah, Lowry's with black pepper, I'm fully seasoned with laughter.
Kamala Harris made comments about migrant immigrants making the trips from countries in Southern America to the US-Mexico border. So I want you to watch a video of what you said and then I'll discuss it.
I want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come. Do not come. The United States will continue to enforce our laws and secure our border. There are legal methods by which migration can and should occur. But we, as one of our priorities, will discourage illegal migration. And I believe if you come to our border, you will be turned back.
I want to talk about why this outlook is completely wrong and what it reveals about Kamala Harris. Immigrants coming to the US from countries in Southern America are migrating here because of the violence in their country. And here's what most people don't realize. There was a study that was done that showed that the homicide rate in the US is 25 to 75% higher because of the drug war that we started. And the world followed suit and joined the US-led drug war. And this of course includes countries in Southern America. This US-led drug war made the cartels in Mexico much more powerful, the same way prohibition in America made the mafia much more powerful. As a result of our drug war, it made countries in Mexico and Southern America much more dangerous and much more violent. From 2007 to 2014, 164,000 people were murdered in Mexico alone. In that same time period, 103,000 people died in the war zones of Iraq and Afghanistan combined. This means that in the streets of Mexico, it's significantly more dangerous than in war zones. And to be clear, not every single person, of course, is murdered as a result of the US-led drug war, but a significant portion of people were murdered because of it. The homicide rate in Mexico, in the US, and other Southern American countries, it's so high because of the drug war that we started. And here's the thing, Joe Biden has the ability to essentially end the drug war unilaterally. He does not need Congress in order to end the drug war. In the US, we have a scheduling system for drugs, meaning the lower number that the drug is scheduled, the more dangerous the US government considers it. The higher the number the drug is scheduled, the higher the number the drug is scheduled, the US government views those drugs as less dangerous and it's much more easier to get access to, much less restricted. So, an example, Schedule 1 drugs, those are drugs such as marijuana, heroin, ecstasy, LSD, and shrooms. Those are drugs that are considered Schedule 1 drugs. And Schedule 1 drugs, the US government considers those drugs to have no medicinal purposes, and they consider those drugs to be too dangerous to study, compared to Schedule 5 drugs you can pick up at the pharmacy. So the president, without Congress, can move those drugs from Schedule 1 to Schedule 4 or 5, and all drugs it can move to Schedule 4 or 5, where people can just buy those drugs at stores, in the stores, and that would essentially end the drug war in the US, and violence subsequently would decrease. in US and in Mexico. And there's actually precedent of something like this being done. In Switzerland, I believe during the 1970s, they had a massive heroin crisis going on. And they figured it was impossible to actually stop drugs from flowing in and out of their country, so they knew the drug war. No, it was in the 90s, sorry. They knew they could not stop drugs from flowing in and out of their countries based on where they're located. It was impossible to stop the drug war on the supply side. So what they did is, instead of trying to, prosecute citizens for using drugs, they did something called harm reduction. And what harm reduction was they decriminalized all drugs. They created a safe space where people can use heroin safely, and they would treat the people like human beings and help them in the meantime while they're recovering from their heroin addiction, find a job, find a proper home and shelter, and give them counseling in order so they can improve their lives. And as a result of it, more than 70% of people who were once addicted to heroin became contributing members of society and were no longer addicted to any drugs. Also, they had a massive AIDS epidemic. And the HIV infection rate after the program harm reduction they implemented in Switzerland, HIV rates dropped by more than 50%. And we face a lot of those same issues in America. Not necessarily the HIV infection rate anymore, but we have an opiate crisis where thousands of Americans die because they overdose on drugs, because we treat drug users like they're criminals, like they're terrible people, when we should be treating these people as people who have an addiction. We should be treating it as a sickness, as an illness, rather than treating these people as a criminal. Even people that sell drugs, a lot of people that sell drugs do so because they don't have any other opportunities. So they feel they need to sell drugs in order to survive. I know many people who's done it, and most of the time that's the reason why these people have done it. If you've ever been to a poor neighborhood, there's no real available jobs. So they're like, hey, I can make a buck selling drugs. They do that. So if the goal of the war on drugs is to fight drug addiction, you have to treat people like they're human. Ironically, you fight drug addiction by ending the drug war and helping people who have these issues. That's the only way to do so. And by ending the drug war, the homicide rate would decrease in Mexico, in the US, and so many migrants wouldn't need to flee to the US. But Kamala Harris doesn't care about that, of course. Kamala Harris' statements, it pretty much shows who she is as a person, who she's been as a person. It shows Kamala Harris doesn't really care about poor people. Kamala Harris, while she was a prosecutor in California, she decided that she was going to throw parents in jail for their child's truancy. Kamala Harris also kept a man in prison who was innocent on the technicality, a poor man. Kamala Harris, while she was running for the Senate in California, said she did not believe in legalizing marijuana, or at least decriminalizing marijuana, while her Republican opponent supported legalizing marijuana use.
My position is it needs to be legalized.
Ron Gold, the Republican candidate for Attorney General, wants to tax and regulate the use of marijuana for recreational purposes.
Colorado is already beginning to prove to everybody that there is sufficient taxable base.
Gold wants to use the millions of dollars projected from marijuana sales for drug and alcohol counseling and for education.
In the face of grave danger.
We asked California's current top cop, Kamala Harris, for her position on this controversial issue.
Your opponent, Ron Gold, has said that he is for the legalization of marijuana recreationally. Your thoughts on that?
That he is entitled to his opinion.
she laughed because she was okay with throwing poor brown people in prison. The same way she's okay with poor brown people being murdered in the Southern American countries because of our drug war. She doesn't care about poor people. And exactly how is Kamala Harris saying poor people, these people who are migrating to our country because of policies that we caused and destroyed their country, how is that different than when Trump say immigrants stay away from the country or build a wall to keep them out? It's the exact same thing. And if you're acting like it's not, you being a hypocrite.
It's a colossal surge, and it's overwhelming our immigration system, and we can't let that happen. So as I say, and this is our new statement, the system is full, can't take you anymore. Whether it's asylum, whether it's anything you want, it's illegal immigration, can't take you anymore. We can't take you. Our country is full, our area is full, the sector is full. Can't take you anymore. I'm sorry. Can't happen. So turn around. That's the way it is.
I want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come. Do not come. The United States will continue to enforce our laws and secure our border. There are legal methods by which migration can and should occur. But we, as one of our priorities, will discourage illegal migration. And I believe if you come to our border, you will be turned back.
Meanwhile, Kamala Harris, she had the opportunity to lock up Steve Mnuchin while she's the prosecutor in California. Her own office told her to go after Steve Mnuchin after he was the president of One West Bank. He illegally evicted hundreds of thousands of people from their home, many who were poor, all of whom were poor, and most who were black people from their homes. He illegally evicted these people, and she decided not to go after Steve Mnuchin. And why is that? Steve Mnuchin, he donated to Kamala Harris's campaign. That's the corruption in the system. And then Steve Mnuchin, he later was in the Trump administration, in his cabinet. George Carlin says it's one big club. So Kamala Harris prosecutes poor people, flat out pretty much says she don't care about poor people, while letting the rich do whatever the hell they want, because they're part of the elite club that none of us is in. That's who Kamala Harris is. That's all I gotta say for this video. I really appreciate you watching. If you like the content, like and subscribe to the channel, turn on the post notifications so you know I post videos in the future, because YouTube will not show you my videos unless you do so. But I gotta leave you with one more thing before the video is over, and that's the word of the day. The word of the day for today is elite. Elite is spelled E-L-I-T-E. The definition of elite is a select group that is superior in terms of qualities to the rest of the group or society. So now I will attempt to use elite in a sentence. It is quite clear that Kamala Harris does not care about the common folk, only the elite. Hopefully I use that sentence correctly. So again, if you like the content, like and subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, you know I post videos in the future, and use elite in the comment section below so I know you watch the video to the end. Oh no, I have more than one more thing to leave you with. So one of my subscribers, his name is Mayorto. Hopefully I said his name correctly. He's my first Patreon. So I really appreciate you for donating to my Patreon account, and he had a special request for me. And what he asked is, can I leave weight loss tips sometimes at the end of the day, also along with the word of the day. So what I gotta say to that is, I'm not going to typically leave weight loss tips in my videos. The funny thing about his channel is I initially was going to do a weight loss / politics channel because I felt that was interesting. Two things I'm interested in, but I'm much more interested in politics than weight loss. So I decided to make it exclusively a political channel instead of a weight loss / politics channel. But I will leave you with the weight loss tip, and I'll talk a little bit more about it at the end of the video. So a weight loss tip, or anyone who is looking to get in any type of shape, something that you need to know so you don't waste a whole lot of money or waste time and money on someone who's trying to scam you, is you don't need to spend money to lose weight. You just don't. You don't need to buy any waist trainers. You don't need to buy any flat tummy teas. You don't need to buy any supplements, pills, that fat burners. They're all garbage and nonsense. I've actually trained people, and we don't use any of that nonsense. You don't have to buy anything. You can buy certain things to supplement your performance, but it's not necessary in order to get in shape, in order to lose weight. You don't need not a single person actually needs supplements until they reach a certain point to where, if you need supplements, you're already in pretty good shape, and supplements will only be useful to help you to get to that next level. But if you're not in pretty great shape already, supplements are useless to you. So that's one thing I'll say about that. Another thing, a tip, a very simple tip, is don't drink your calories. So me, I almost never drink anything besides water, and luckily for me, I just don't like sweets. I'm just not a fan of sweets at all. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like anything sweet for the most part, other than fruit. I love fruit. So don't drink your calories. That include, if you're gonna have coffee, if you can, make it black or use some low calorie sweetener that has very little to no calories. Soda, absolute no. Juice on occasion. So that's a very simple weight loss tip. But like I said, I used to do weight loss channels. I used to do weight loss videos in the past, so I actually have a few weight loss videos on the channel. I'm going to link one below so you can watch it if you like. There's a lot of tips in that video. But overall, what I very well may do is I may make my Instagram, I may do weight loss on Instagram and keep YouTube specifically for politics. So you can follow me on Instagram. I'm going to be doing weight loss tips on there, just to, you know, do separate things on separate platforms. And yeah, and I'm much more interested in making political videos than weight loss videos. Even if I could probably make more money off a weight loss video, I'm just much more interested in politics. I've been interested in politics since I was 6 years old. So yeah, follow me on Instagram. That's where I'll be giving weight loss tips. But it's going to be, I'm probably not going to be doing it very consistently until a couple of months from now, because I'm about to have surgery very shortly. I'm actually having a very hard time walking because I need ankle surgery. I'm having ankle surgery in July, so after that I'm gonna be off my foot for a couple of months. But after that period, I'll be consistently putting things on Instagram about original content on how you can maintain a healthy diet, and if you want to lose weight, lose weight. But like I said, in the meantime, between time, I actually recommend a few channels to you. One is Athlean X. He is amazing, so you can watch him if you want to lose weight, build muscle. I can't think of any others off the top of my head, but I'll find a few which I'm going to link in the description below if you want to lose weight. Something like apple cider vinegar isn't necessary really. It really helps around the edges, but it's not necessary. Main things I would say: don't drink your calories, watch your calories. If you're a male, about the average height, about 5'8", 5'9", the average height of a male, if you eat around 2,000 calories, you'll be fine. You're not going to be overweight no matter what. If you're a woman, if you eat between 1,600 to if you eat between 16 to 1,500 a day, even 1,700, your weight is going to be fine. And it also depends on your activity level, right? So there's so many variables that it's hard to just give general weight loss. But male eat around 2,000 calories, female eat around 1,600 calories. You're not going to be overweight really under any circumstance if you're the average height. So I don't really have anything else to say. I have a Patreon account now. If you want to donate anything between $3 to $10, I really appreciate it. It's going to help my channel grow massively. Everything's going to go back into the channel so I can help have a better viewing experience for you. My Patreon account is patreon.com/keepit100dre. Like I said, anything between $3 to $10 will help me massively. I really appreciate it. Watch my George Floyd documentary. It's a documentary on the system that allowed George Floyd to be murdered, and how much progress we have made so far and how much we have to make in order for justice to actually be served. So yeah, that's all I gotta say for this video. I appreciate you watching. I'm Sanders. Peace.
Well, I've been stacking up. Nah, really that ain't accurate, cause I just spent my whole damn advance in the past couple months just to compensate for times we ain't have enough. Ooh.